Today we got Iron Man taking on Captain Marvel. Tony Stark going up against Carol Danvers. Who comes out on top? Well, let's find out.
Hear the music.
I could do this all day.
Tony Stark was an arrogant son of wealthy weapons manufacturer Howard Stark. Tony cared only about himself. This changed when he had a change of heart after having shrapnel in the heart, after he was kidnapped by terrorists and gravely injured. Stark was pressured to create a weapon of mass destruction, but instead created a suit of power armor in order to escape. Now, Tony uses his vast resources and intellect to make the world a better place as the invincible Iron Man. Iron Man's abilities are constantly changing because he's continuously updating and improving his armor, but he has some powers that are pretty consistent. But just for clarity's sake, Tony will be given his bleeding edge armor in this fight. Now the armor gives Tony superhuman strength, and he's easily able to over 100 tons. He's even managed to take down the Red Hulk, stagger the actual Hulk, and brawl against Taurus, who had just beaten Thor with a few punches. The armor grants Tony incredible speed as well, and he can outmaneuver and dodge missile and laser fire. But perhaps most impressive is being able to outmaneuver Gladiator, and even speed blitz Phoenix Force Cyclops. One of the most impressive things about the suit, though, is its durability and shields. Tony is able to hold his own against Colossus with Juggernaut's powers, a hallucinating Thor, and Rogue with the powers of Hulk. His shields also held up against the final form of Ultron, and Emma Frost with half of the Phoenix Force on her side. Bleeding Edge is also equipped with countless different weapons, with the most common being her pulsar rays, unibeams, and missiles and lasers. He also has miniature cluster bombs, homing lasers, multidirectional repulsors, microscopic telepathic tasers, and a sonic weapon that nearly killed Juggernaut. Tony's also incredibly intelligent, a skilled fighter, and is an excellent strategist. He's able to use his intellect to think of countless ways to take down opponents. Then, in the corner, Captain Marvel. After encountering the Kree hero Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers was accidentally subjected to otherworldly radiation that transformed her into a superhuman warrior. Calling herself Miss Marvel, she established herself as one of the most powerful and prominent heroes, both as a solo heroine and as a member of the Avengers. Now, she's adopted the mantle of Captain Marvel for herself. When she originally became Miss Marvel, Carol's strength level was around 50 tons under normal conditions, but her powers were upgraded to where she could lift over 100 tons. Recent tests by Hank Pym even suggested that her strength is still growing, that it theoretically has no limit. Carol is able to move at supersonic speeds, and can reach even greater velocities when the time arrives. She can also fly. Because of her time as a skilled and decorated pilot, she's an expert at aerial combat, and can easily outmaneuver most opponents in the air. Along with her speed, she possesses great superhuman agility and reflexes, and has superhuman stamina that allows her to fight for 24 hours before tiring. During the Skrull invasion, Carol single-handedly fought off a massive Skrull army for an entire day without rest, and defended a city until help arrived. She's impervious to most forms of damage, and can actually take an absolutely insane amount of damage. She's bulletproof, resistant to rockets, mortar shells, and bombs, and is durable enough to take repeated blows from stronger opponents. She's also impervious to most forms of energy attacks. And those kind of attacks actually make her stronger and more powerful. That's because of her ability to absorb all forms of energy. She also has the ability to project extremely powerful photon blasts, which are roughly equal in force to Iron Man's full strength of pulsar blast. Then Captain Marvel can also turn into Binary if she's pushed. And Binary has unquantifiable strength, can move at light speed, and has cosmic awareness, which allows her to perceive all types of energy patterns. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, I know, these two just fought in the Second Civil War, and Captain Marvel came out on top. But if we're being honest, I really don't buy that. Partly because I just don't trust Marvel when it comes to civil wars or big battles like these. First off, with stories like these, it's not just about who wins in a physical fight, but also whose morality or ideology has got to win to fit in with the story. Secondly, Marvel has a tendency to push some characters over others, and push them by letting them win a big fight. And they're pushing Captain Marvel right now, especially with claiming that she is the most powerful hero in the MCU. Lastly, Iron Man really just doesn't have the best track record when it comes to civil wars, losing both to Captain America and to Captain Marvel. Also, this is just a personal reason, but I don't necessarily trust Bendis as a writer in these situations, since he seems to ignore who would actually win, favoring his favorite characters or even just going for a shock value. Plus, there's the fact that Captain Marvel wasn't able to take down a rogue Hulkbuster suit with the entire Avengers roster backing her. So the idea that she can now beat one by herself doesn't really make sense. Bendis even said that it was the strongest Hulkbuster suit that Iron Man had ever created, implying that it's more powerful than the World War Hulkbuster suit that Tony used to fight against World War Hulk for several pages. That doesn't make sense to me. And I just don't want to include that particular fight in this discussion because of all the reasons I just mentioned. Not saying that Captain Marvel can't beat Iron Man, I just don't want to say that Carol can beat him because of that one instance. Also, and they should go without saying, but we're not including Binary in this fight. When Carol taps into the upgrade, she's as powerful as a star and has been able to blow up a planet. Easily beats Iron Man. We're just taking a look to see if Captain Marvel can do it. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started. We're going to start off talking about physicality. Now, in terms of strength, I'm going to give the edge here to Carol. I mean, she's held up portions of skyscrapers, used spaceships like baseball bats, and Captain Marvel has even picked up and moved a Celestial who was the size of several city blocks. That's real impressive. She's also packing a serious punch, slamming Super Skrulls through several buildings, knocking out Ronan and Valkyrie for punches, and she's even able to enhance and amp her punches with her energy. In fact, Carol actually has a pretty decent track record against armored characters, easily damaging Ultimate Iron Man, knocking out Iron Patriot, and kicking an older version of the Iron Man armor through an airplane. However, we can't undersell Tony when it comes to strength or striking power. The guy is seriously impressive, especially in the bleeding edge armor. He's traded blows with Magneto, while Eric was amped the magnetic forces of several planets, manhandled Red Hulk, he staggered Hulk on several occasions, and brawled against Taurus. In fact, Iron Man might be able to throw a stronger punch than Captain Marvel, considering that he staggered Hulk multiple times with his punches, and fought on relatively equal footing with Red Hulk, while Carol blitzed the Hulk into the ground and landed plenty of good punches on him, only for the Hulk to shrug it off, ask her if she was feeling better, then knock her off with one punch, sending her flying through the helicarrier and sailing into orbit in the process. And that's a great lead into the next thing, durability. Iron Man is more durable than Captain Marvel. I mean, the bleeding edge armor is arguably his most durable armor ever. He's taken punches of Colossus with the Juggernaut's powers, blows from an amped Grey Gargoyle, who was on Thor's level, survived the heat of Odin's Forge, shrugged off strikes from Diablo in an upgraded form of the Destroyer armor, and is unfazed by Gladiator's heat vision, He's even fought against and taken attacks on a hallucinating Thor, and Rogue with the powers of Hulk. Tony's shield's also insanely impressive, holding up the blast from Emma Frost with half of the Phoenix Force on her side, withstanding attacks from Final Form Ultron, and the shields have even straight up contained Apocalypse before. Now, this isn't to say that Carol isn't durable as well. She's completely bulletproof, and has taken beatings from Wonder Man, hits from Ronin, Gamora, and even Gladiator. She's easily withstood an electrical attack from Iron Man in the past, has taken repulsor blasts from several hijacked Iron Man suits at once, and has even stood up to energy blasts from Ultron and Thanos himself. Then finally, when it comes to speed, I gotta give the edge to Captain Marvel. War Machine has explicitly said that Carol is faster than Tony, and Captain Marvel was actually backing this up, as she was able to dodge an energy blast that actually caught Iron Man. This actually makes sense. Because of her time as a decorated fighter jet pilot, she's got aeronautical skills that far surpass Tony. She just understands the mechanics behind flying a whole lot better than he does. But it's never just about physicality. We've also got to look at these heroes' other powers, like Captain Marvel's Photon Blast and Iron Man having pretty much any weapon in the book. Now, Iron Man's blasters are on the whole more powerful than Captain Marvel's Photon Blast, considering that they knocked down Dark Phoenix Cyclops, staggered the Hulk, and brought down Ulik, who was upgraded with a high evolutionary and could beat Thor. Iron Man has even amped his repulsor blast by tapping into his city power grid, and used it to knock back Mangog. Captain Marvel's Photon Blast just can't compare, although they have been able to injure Proxima Midnight or knock over Punisher in his War Machine suit. However, Carol's greatest asset has got to be her powers of energy absorption. She's absorbed blasts from Claw, Kree Sentinels, gamma radiation from Abomination, and even absorbed energy from Iron Man before. And she's then able to redirect this energy and shoot it back in a way more powerful blast. However, there are some energy blasts that she's either incapable of absorbing or they just caught her by surprise. What I mean is that Carol doesn't instantly absorb every single blast that comes her way. Like she's taking blasts from Thanos, Ronin, Ultron, and even other Iron Man armors. So Tony should still be able to tag her for his repulsors, and they'll do more damage to her than she can do to him with a Photon Blast. But Iron Man doesn't just have a repulsor blast at his disposal. He can create energy swords, capable of hurting Thor-level opponents. Fire miniature cluster bombs, has sonic attacks that nearly killed the Juggernaut, and so many other powers that it's not even funny. Tony in the Bleeding Edge can do just about anything he wants. On top of that, Captain Marvel can't absorb physical attacks, so Iron Man can always just punch her in the face. So, end of the day, who wins? Well, that's where things get kind of complicated, because Captain Marvel is powerful. And whether you like what happened in the Second Civil War or not, there's no question that Carol is getting more and more powerful in recent years. This is actually pretty consistent for her character, as she's constantly been evolving and gaining power-ups throughout the years. So I would say at this point, she can beat Iron Man in his Model Prime armor, the armor that she fought against during Civil War. There's really no way to take down the strongest Hulkbuster ever. We've already been over this, but that is really consistent for both characters. However, here in this fight against Bleeding Edge, well, Tony has shown he's just a level above. It'd be a great fight, but the Bleeding Edge armor is just too powerful here. Iron Man wins. But what do y'all think? Love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, hit that little bell, join the FanCo army, and I will see you next time.